Call this meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners to order. As always, we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner McLean, would you start us off, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will the clerk please take roll call attendance?
Commissioner Cooper. Yep. Commissioner Kinsella.
Here.
Commissioner McLean.
Here.
Commissioner Postula.
Here.
And Chairman Shackleton.
Here. Everybody's here. We move to additions and deletions to the agenda. We have an agenda presented.
I'd move acceptance of the agenda as presented.
Support.
Commissioner McLean motions to approve the agenda as it is presented. Support by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion regarding the motion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. We move to correspondence received in the clerk's office. That is on page 1. As always, we have various communications, also known as letters.
I would move we accept the correspondence as received and forward to the clerk's office and do what we need to do with it.
Okay.
Support.
Commissioner Postula makes the motion. Commissioner McLean supported that the communications be accepted and forwarded as appropriate. Is there discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. Move to approval of the county board minutes. We have two. We have a public hearing of June 9th and a regular meeting of June 9th. And those are on page 2 and 3. I think we can do those together if there's no objection or dramatic
I'll motion
changes.
both of those.
Okay.
Support.
Commissioner Kinsella moves approval of the meeting minutes for both the public hearing and the regular meeting, and it's supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? Commissioner Cooper?
I just got a question on the action we took with the contract between Chippewa County and Sioux Tribe of Chippewa Indians. Did we get that signed from the tribe?
That has not been signed yet.
That's not been signed, okay.
Okay. Is there any other discussion?
Just
Commissioner
an
Gonzalez.
item, I did see in the paper that their August meeting was moved ahead to July, the tribal board meeting. If that has any bearing on the agreement. I had heard they were going to take it up at that next board meeting.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor of approval of the minutes, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to public comments. Anybody who'd like to speak under public comments, this is your opportunity.
I would.
Commissioner?
Scott, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
What's the time limit on public comment? We haven't been
As you know, I've usually been rather, as a chair, using discretion. I usually try to give people as much time as they need, but we would certainly keep it somewhere between 5, 6, 7 minutes.
I mean, I know the bylaws say 3 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I think as a chair, I usually try to give people enough time out of respect to the public to let them speak for perhaps a little bit longer if they need to. You have the floor.
Good afternoon and welcome to your Chippewa County Commission regular meeting. I assume we're all here today to continue to share and represent the thoughts and wishes of the taxpayers and citizens of Chippewa County. Recent events, which now are easily viewable on the ChippewaCountyMI.org website, prompt me to speak under the public comments part of this meeting in order to have 7 or 8 minutes of your uninterrupted time today. A little over a year ago, during our normal county budgeting process, a private email was shared between county commissioners only. It was an answer to an e-discussion of a $300,000 revenue shortfall in a particular department and the kind of operational issues to stem that potential imbalance in our county's operating budget. In my opinion, some stern dialogue was needed then, and that email was a response to one that came to me from our county finance chair. Actually, in our last Thursday finance meeting, according to our finance chair, we are again in a large budget shortfall in that same department. This requires our attention and special scrutiny with an eye towards some potential action. Last year, we were contemplating that same department's desire to go to the voters for additional revenue via a new tax millage issue. Other items discussed in that meeting were millages for additional tax revenue in the animal shelter and millage for senior meals. The record shows that the animal shelter and senior meal millages passed and the issue as desired by that department did not. My little handbook, A Guide to County Government, is what helps me to be pretty successful in representing the wishes of the taxpayers in my district, which encompasses pretty much the west half of this county. Here's a quote from that handbook. Departments sometimes want to throw up their hands at the questions county commissioners raise about their department budget requests. If the board is doing its job, it must ask questions. The general purpose should be to assure commissioners and the public that the proposed expenses are necessary and justified, and departments should be prepared to produce data to show the pertinent trends in the county that affect the operating cost and justify that budget need. Appropriations based on cost centers help to improve commission understanding of departmental budgets and helps each group to be more accountable to the taxpayers, the public, and to each other. These appropriations, for the most part, would not be subject to change without board approval. Some departments may prefer another arrangement, as may some commissioners." End quote. You all need to know that my moral compass will not let me ignore irresponsible spending or questionable operations that are brought to my attention in any county department. We as commissioners are challenged to bring forth a balanced budget every year. We have been faced recently with declining revenues and declining revenue sharing coming back to us from state government. In addition, we are forced continually to fight against unfunded mandates coming at us from state and federal governments. I will, and we must, continue to ask tough questions of all the department heads, whether elected or appointed. As evidenced by recent history, those questions may appear like micromanaging, but really must be analyzed to be sure that they are saving taxpayer dollars without compromising public safety. Public officials who are doing their job properly should never have a problem with commissioner questions about their operations, and most don't. Their response, offered in a proper forum, is all we as commissioners can ask, and ask we must. In summary, I'll continue to represent to the best of my ability, as I have for the last 3 years, the taxpayers who have no opportunity to question without fear of repercussions, who complain and expect a reasonable and fair response, and who have a right to believe that the people they elect honestly work for and represent them every single day. Thank you.
Thank you. We're still under public comment. If anybody else would like to speak, this is your opportunity.
Am I on the agenda or am I here?
You're on the agenda, Mr. Mattson. You'll be up shortly. Anyone else care to speak under the public comment portion of the agenda? In that case, I declare public comment closed. We go to old business. We start with Mr. Mattson. He has requested time on the agenda to speak. Mr. Mattson, I would offer you 10 minutes, no more, than to come up and say what you'd like to say, and please come up to the microphone.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Cooper and Mr. Kinsella. These two have always helped me whenever I've had a problem. But with that being said, just like Mr. Kinsella said, you have to, ask your government questions in order to get answers. And when you get answers that aren't right, or that aren't correct, or you get denied, or nobody says anything to you, nobody wants to bring it out to the public, it tends to make our government look a little on the corrupt side. And I say that very heavily because I believe that a lot of you guys are corrupt. One reason being is I asked 2.5 years ago during my campaign for sheriff what was going to be done, and you all sat there mute except for 2 of you. mute. You didn't say nothing, didn't do nothing, didn't say nothing to the sheriff. Okay, fine, I filed a lawsuit, no big deal. The big deal is that you guys paid his attorney fees. It's a campaign-related issue, yet you still paid for his attorney fees. Then you're garnishing my wages, which fine, so be it. You want to garnish my wages? Go ahead. Best part about it is that that's still illegal too. I will show that in a federal appeals court. I have no problem doing that, and I'm gonna do it real soon. What I don't like is the fact that I got offered $2,000 by Chippewa County Commissioner, and to have the $28,000 in legal fees wiped clean as long as I stop going after your sheriff, Robert Savoy. Well, I've got news for everybody in this room. I'm not stopping what I'm doing until everybody's gone. I will make do with everything possible to bring everybody that I can down in county government. If we have to change county government, fine, we'll change it. If I have to help do it, I'll help do it. I've got letters from their attorney, which is sitting right here. I'm pretty sure the state trooper's here for me. I'm pretty sure, because, oh yeah, let's bring that out too. I got a criminal investigation brought up on me in reference to my letter of intent to sue, brought on by Mr. German and whoever else. That's outstanding. That's just beyond my belief that a county government would go that far low to do a criminal investigation because I filed a lawsuit against your sheriff who's using illegal monies, who slandered my name. Perfect. That just shows in the letter from the attorney sitting there stating that they're going to withhold or stop the garnishments for 2 weeks pending a final agreement between myself and Chippewa County. You guys don't see the corruption there? Or is that just me being stupid? Because that's a lot of corruption right there. What I do for a reason. Talking with Jim German, doing what we did, thought we could just get this done and over with. I guess not. Now you want to do a criminal investigation on me because I'm doing the right thing by holding my government accountable for what they do? Let's do it. They're here for me, let's do it. Because I will make sure that I file federal law, and actually I'm going to file a lawsuit on Chippewa County now because of this criminal investigation. And now I will hold Chippewa County publicly liable for your shortcomings. That will come soon. I'm in the process of speaking with an attorney from Troy, Michigan. And if I have to, I'll name each and every one of you individually in the lawsuit, plus Chippewa County. I will not name Don Cooper or George Kinsella in that lawsuit. Everybody else who stood mute and did nothing, so be it. If you lose your whatever, you lose. I don't care. I will I'm going to give a packet to every candidate that I possibly can to help get you my county government changed. They can do what they want with my public records. I'm done with Chippewa County. I'm done dealing with you people. I'm done dealing with the corruption that's here. I've asked you, Mr. Shackleton, several times, emailed you. All I wanted was a response. You don't even have the guts to give me a response on that, and that's sad. That's beyond sad. You're a county chair, yet you won't respond to something when it comes to illegal use of public funds? Why not? Can't answer now, or?
This is your opportunity to speak.
Okay, so when are you going to answer my questions?
Actually, during my opportunity to speak, during commissioner comments at the end, I can answer that direct question.
Okay. I thought this was supposed to be, I was supposed to be able to ask you guys questions and you would answer, according to Mr. German.
No.
No?
I don't
Why are
think.
you laughing? You think it's funny?
Because I don't think anybody would have represented to you that you were able to come
No,
up and ask.
would you like to hear the recording?
Sir.
Would you like to hear the recording?
Would you allow me to finish my statement? You're on the agenda to say what you want to say. I told you to come up and do that for 10 minutes. We're letting you do that now, so go right ahead.
Oh, so
Finish what you want to say.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. You guys are too chicken to even speak to me about anything. Same with your sheriff. You guys sit there. You know what? And this is the corruption that I'm talking about right here. You wanna know everything, but you don't want to deal with it. You let the sheriff use $28,000 for legal fees for a personal lawsuit that Mr. German put on there as Chippewa County being involved. Where does it say on the paperwork that Chippewa County was involved? Mr. German said that I insinuated is the reason why he paid the legal fees. So because I insinuated I may sue Chippewa County, that makes it a Chippewa County matter? I don't believe so. Not under any law. And then now I've got a Detective Sergeant Mark Schrader telling me that anything and everything about me is his business now because of Chippewa County. Show me the law that states that, and I'll agree with him. Until then, I'm supposed to go meet him tomorrow too about this. No, he can meet with my attorney. He can go ahead and meet with my attorney, and we can go from there. And you'll all be getting letters from my attorney soon on the lawsuit that's going to be pending. Except for Mr. Cooper and Mr. Kinsella. They're the only two that I will not. And I've got all the proof right here. I've got emails back and forth from me and Mr. German. I've got the letter from Mr. Grant right there talking about, the agreement between me and Chippewa County just to halt the garnishments. I've got the recordings of Mr. German. No big deal. So with that, I'll see y'all in court.
And that concludes your time then, Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Okay. There are a number of legal issues that I'm sure were easy to identify that Mr. Mattson is alluding to. So felt it was in the best interest of the county to ask our attorney to speak on behalf of the county. So Mr. Grant has been involved with Mr. Mattson's situation from the beginning, and I'd offer him the opportunity to come up and speak. Yes.
These attorneys, they get paid by the hour.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, thank you for having me here today. As Mr. Shackleton pointed out, the county asked me to come here and respond to Mr. Mattson's allegations. I will try to do so briefly and essentially provide you with the highlights and some of the background behind what has transpired so far. As Mr. Mattson described, he did run in the last election against Sheriff Robert Savoy. He did lose that election. I believe the percentage of votes was 83% to 17%. Mr. Mattson subsequently, and what we believe was in retaliatory fashion, then began to threaten to sue Sheriff Savoy, as well as the Chippewa County Sheriff's Department, as a result of what he believed was an illegal background check performed on him by someone within the Sheriff's Department. There was no evidence of that, no truth behind any of those allegations, other than something that Mr. Mattson had a document that he would not produce to us. We've never seen it. He claims he sent it to the Department of Justice and did not retain a copy of it. But from our standpoint, we've never seen anything that has ever signified that the Sheriff's Department performed some sort of illegal background check on Mr. Mattson. Regardless of that, Mr. Mattson then filed a defamation lawsuit against Sheriff Savoy. Mr. Mattson has claimed now that the county illegally paid for Sheriff Savoy's attorney fees and costs in that case. That's simply not true, and I'll describe that to you in a moment. In August of 2012, Mr. Mattson sent an email to County Administrator Jim German indicating that he was going to sue the Chippewa County Sheriff's Department. He subsequently filed in November of 2012 the lawsuit against Sheriff Savoy, naming Sheriff Savoy as a defendant in the lawsuit, naming Sheriff Savoy as the Sheriff of Chippewa County. As a result of that August 28, 2012 email, and as a result of the lawsuit, the matter was turned over by the county to its insurer. The insurer looked at the matter, determined that there could be county exposure, determined that the sheriff is a county employee, and found insurance coverage for Sheriff Savoy in the defense of that case. In November of 2013, we filed a motion to have the case dismissed that Mr. Mattson filed against Sheriff Savoy. the court granted our motion and dismissed the case with prejudice, meaning Mr. Mattson can never file that case again. In December of 2013, February of 2014, we filed a motion for sanctions against Mr. Mattson, asking that the court determine his case against the sheriff to be frivolous under Michigan court rules and Michigan statutory law. The court agreed, granted our motion for sanctions, and ordered Mr. Mattson to pay all of the costs and attorney fees that were incurred in having to defend Sheriff Savoy, to the tune of $27,835. A judgment was entered in that amount against Mr. Mattson. And what's important to know about sanctions in this state is that they're very rarely given. It is very rarely determined that a case, that lawsuit, is frivolous. In this case, Judge Carmody, who was sitting by assignment as a result of Judge Lambrose recusing himself, Judge Carmody agreed and did enter the judgment for those sanctions, and we have been attempting to collect those funds from Mr. Mattson since. The month after Mr. Mattson filed the lawsuit, December 5th, 2012, we sent him a letter asking him to dismiss the case and that we would not pursue sanctions or attorney fees against him if he would agree to do so. He did not do so. We gave him the chance to dismiss it to avoid any further costs or attorney fees to the county. He would not agree to do so, so we pursued the pretrial motion to dismiss. Mr. Mattson has indicated that the county illegally paid for the sheriff's legal fees. That's simply not true. In fact, it's not true in law. There's no law that's been violated on any level, either state, local, or federal. This was an insurance issue. The insurer found coverage in this case, determined that the sheriff should be covered as a result of Mr. Mattson's allegations that he was going to sue the sheriff and that he was going to sue the sheriff's department. Coverage was found. And I think it's also important to point out here that the county is not going to pay the sheriff's legal fees in this case. Mr. Mattson has been ordered to pay every dime of the costs and attorney fees to the tune of $27,835. Mr. Mattson, in further retaliation, after his lawsuit was dismissed and after sanctions were issued, continued to threaten Mr. German, Mr. Savoy, the county, has continued to threaten to file a civil lawsuit, has threatened them criminally, has indicated that he will file or has filed criminal complaints against the sheriff and Mr. German with the State Attorney General's Office and the United States Attorneys, U.S. Attorney General. I've reviewed the law. There's simply nothing criminal that's been done here whatsoever. I'm very confident to stand here and say that today. Neither Mr. German nor Sheriff Savoy has done nothing wrong whatsoever. No laws have been violated. Mr. Mattson wants to cite the Campaign Finance Act as a basis for those violations. There's simply nothing in the Campaign Finance Act to suggest that anything wrong has occurred here, and certainly nothing criminal in nature. Mr. Mattson also touched on the fact that Mr. German had spoke to him regarding resolution of these issues in the form of compromise. Mr. German does have a right as the administrator to attempt to negotiate settlements on various issues. Mr. German does not have the authority to enter into any settlement agreements with anyone. That has to be voted on by the county commissioners, and in this case, the county commissioners have not voted on any type of resolution. As far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know, at this point there are no resolutions whatsoever, but it is certainly within an administrator's authority to attempt to negotiate a resolution of matters in the best interest of the county. Like I said, Mr. Mattson has continued to send emails threatening lawsuits and criminal charges. I received an additional one this morning from Mr. Mattson to that effect. My understanding at this point is that these emails that Mr. Mattson has been sending to Mr. German have been interpreted by both Mr. German and the sheriff to be of a threatening nature, and that has brought them some concern. I'm not prepared to comment on anything further. Mr. Mattson made some allegations regarding a criminal investigation. I have nothing to do with the investigation. I'm not a prosecutor. I'm not a police officer. That's not my place, so I will not comment further on that. But what I am confident in saying here today is that there's no evidence of any wrongdoing by anyone at the county level. There's no evidence of any criminal conduct. Nothing inappropriate has occurred here whatsoever by anyone. And if Mr. Mattson wishes to continue to pursue this, then the county too will have its day in court, and we will prove it. So, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. That concludes the two sides that I wanted to allow to speak under this. Again, with there being several legal issues and threatened lawsuits, etc., I thought it best that we allow the county's attorney to speak for us on it. So without objection, I would propose that we move to item B, which is the approving a North Care Network intergovernmental contract, and one appointment is needed. This is on page 17 of the packet. And Mr. German, do you want to comment on this?
This is a new agreement, Mr. Chair. It is in line with other appointments that are appointed by the chair. It was not advertised, although Mr. Jim Moore stepped forward, who is the chair of HBH and a member of Chippewa County. And he is very familiar with the agreement and the status of North Care.
And could you speak to the contract? Because we're approving the contract and making an appointment.
The contract itself is basically an intergovernmental agreement over SUDs.
Substance abuse disorder.
Yes, and it has the counties coming together to administrate that substance abuse dollars, as I understand it.
All right. So there's two actions we need to do here. We need to approve the contract, and the chair has the opportunity to make an appointment. So I think what would be in order would be consideration of the contract.
I'll motion that.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner Postula, that the North Care Network intergovernmental contract be approved. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. And then there is one appointment, and it's a chair appointment, and we don't, oftentimes that's not an advertised appointment, it's appointed at the discretion of the chair. And knowing that the position is a good fit for Mr. Jim Moore, and that he's expressed interest in it, I would appoint Jim Moore to that position.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Commissioner Cooper, go ahead.
As you read this contract, section 2.2, appointment and composition, the Board of Commissioners of each county shall appoint one member to the SUD policy board. The Board of Commissioners may appoint county commissioners or others. That's a law of Michigan law.
Okay.
That it deems best to represent the interests of the county. It alludes to, 2.2 always says the county commission, the county commission. And the county commission, again, we've got bylaws, and the bylaws tell us how we handle board appointment.
Yeah.
For a county board, when something arises on the county commission.
It was, Commissioner Cooper, it was represented to me that this was a chair appointment. If the board would like to go through the process of advertising and make the appointment, I've got no objection.
I would move that we go through the process and advertise as outlined in our bylaws.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we have it.
Well, there's a motion. Let's wait a moment before I recognize you, Mr. Chairman.
I guess I'd support that. In reading that, I came across that also, Mr. Cooper, and it says rather plainly that we do but the other thing that enters into this, and I support him, but in speaking on this, the committee, I believe, is meeting next week. That's my understanding. I spoke with Jim Moore today, he indicated that they were meeting next week. Am I correct, George?
Yes, and we would be without representation unless we appoint somebody here today.
So other than, an alternative that might be a reasonable compromise is, if the board would like to make the appointment, here today, and waive the usual policy of advertising it. It's up to you.
But I don't think, it doesn't give, I mean, we have that policy in that, you know, what I mean, we wanna get people from the public, there's a lot of people out there that are clearly qualified to do this, as Jim Moore is. And I think you should give them the opportunity, as, again, we have in our bylaws, instead of just changing on the fly. You know, let's follow the rules.
Well, many times it's appropriate to waive a policy, but, whether this is one or not is up to the board to decide. Administrator German?
I think we're getting a little bit willy-nilly on the wording of 2.2. When it says the Board of Commission, the chair can still make an appointment, but of course it's up to the board, I believe, within the bylaws, if 2/3 of the board overturns the chair's appointment.
Chairman, it says the board.
It does say.
Create what you want, Jim, make it up.
All right, Commissioner Cooper, please stay in order. We have a motion on the floor, and that is that the position be advertised and filled through that manner. Is there further discussion on the motion?
I guess I'd like to see us have representation there, and possibly as a solution to this, we could proceed with soliciting, people who are interested through the normal policy, and in the interim, ask Jim Moore to represent us at this meeting, because he is very, very able to handle that. He's very much involved in HBH, and this is a spin-off of that, but I do agree with Commissioner Cooper that we should, if we have a process, we should follow it if at all possible. So that would be my thinking, is that we vote to approve advertising as we normally would, but in the interim, appoint Jim Moore to represent us at this meeting that's coming next week.
Okay, the motion was made by Commissioner Cooper and supported by yourself.
Yes.
So we still have the original motion on the floor. Commissioner Pastillo?
And I think it's important to have somebody there from the get-go that understands what we're doing, because it sounds like this could mean some more money for us in Chippewa County. And if we're not well represented, we could lose money.
Commissioner Cooper, would you be comfortable with your motion to ask Mr. Moore to represent us at the first meeting?
Sure.
All right.
So is that just a question, is that offered as an amendment then to the original?
Well, no, you just gotta ask me if I'd be comfortable with it, I said, yeah.
If you're okay with
You
that,
gotta have a
if the-
representative there, then.
The original maker of the motion's okay with it, the person who supported it is okay with it, then we'll include that as part of the motion.
So the motion then is gonna say a temporary appointment until,
To represent us at the first meeting, and then we'll go from there. All right, is there any further discussion on the motion? Everybody okay with that? All right, all in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
If you're opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move on to the administrator's report. Administrator German.
26. You'll see the various reports there, the Veterans Affairs, War Memorial Hospital, Sheriff's Department, Public Defender, and the Animal Shelter, and a letter in reference to the animal shelter. I'd also, just a quick update on the radiator replacement in the courthouse. The commission set a $10,000 max, and we are now at approximately $8,300 of that. It'll be going to Building and Grounds very soon to finish the job. They have found more than one of the O-rings that were snapped, and so it was a very wise decision by the commission to invest in a radiator replacement, or we would have wound up with more flooding, and that's all I have.
Okay. Standing committee reports. We have two. We have Personnel Equalization, Health and Social Services. Commissioner Kinsella is the chair. Could you give us a report?
page is that? That's back there. It's 39, I'm just trying to get there. Okay, here we go. A regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Personnel Equalization Health and Social Services Committee was held on Wednesday, July 2nd at the Chippewa County Courthouse in Sault Ste. Marie. Chairman Kinsella called the meeting to order with the quorum present. The members present were Commissioner McLean, Commissioner Pastula, and Commissioner Kinsella. No members were absent. Others present, Jim German, County Administrator Kelly Church, and Holly Henderson. There were no additions or deletions to the agenda. There were no public there, so no public comments. The agenda items were as follows: Administrative Assistant / Information Technology hire. Administrator German notified the committee that Danielle McDowell had been hired to fill the position of Administrative Assistant / Information Technology effective June 30th, 2014, so that training could be provided. Mr. German also noted that this is a confidential position. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner McLean, to hire Danielle McDowell as the new Administrative Assistant / Information Technology Technician, effective June 30 at a grade level 7. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and also moved.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We received a union letter. Administrator German informed the committee of a request by AFSCME to add the Administrative Assistant IT Technician to the bargaining unit. No action was taken. An update on a Chippewa County Health Department position. Deputy Administrator Church updated the committee on a review of the CCHD position that the Administrator's Office was asked to review by the Board of Commissioners. A memo from Christine Lundquist will be presented at the Finance Committee meeting. No action was taken. Request from the animal shelter. Shelter manager Holly Henderson requested a waiver regarding the Affordable Care Act regarding the necessity to give her one part-time employees so that they may work who work more than 29 hours a week to be offered health care on January 1, 2015. This would provide for more continuity at the shelter. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to recommend to the Finance Committee that one part-time person at the shelter be permitted to work more than 29 hours per week and to offer health care on January 1, 2015. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and also moved.
Support.
Commissioner Kinsella makes the motion. Commissioner McLean supports it. Is there discussion?
The motion is to move to finance?
Yeah. Is the motion to move it to Finance?
Well,
That's what the motion was.
yeah.
We've already taken
we
it
were-
up in finance.
Well, we've taken it up in Finance, or we have not?
We have.
Okay, so-
This was
And he
the,
asked for additional information that's included in
right.
finance.
Okay.
Right,
So
right.
we'll leave it.
So we don't really need a motion on
That's
that.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
Leave it up. Adjourn. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to adjourn the meeting on a voice vote. That motion was carried, and I'll move for the acceptance of this report.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean to accept the minutes of Personnel Equalization, Health and Social Services. Is there discussion regarding that motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Now we have Finance Claims and Accounts. That's Commissioner Cooper. And Commissioner Cooper, your report will include that previously discussed one regarding the animal shelter.
It's in there
Mhm.
with the analysis that we asked. Mr. McLean, I think. The regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners, Claims and Accounts, was held July 10th, 4 p.m. Quorum was present. I was there, George, Donna McLean, Scott Jackson, Ted Wilson, Dave Martin, Margie Yang, Jim German, and Kelly Church were also there. It was moved right, we approved the agenda as submitted. There was no public comment. Correspondence and informational items. We received the treasurer's investment report, the monthly travel report from the addendum, the June Visa billing statement for review, a memo from the Michigan Supreme Court, and an amended copy of the Child Care Fund budget for fiscal year 2013-14. Under the agenda items, the Health Department had a 2% funding request. The committee received and reviewed the 2% funding request from Chippewa County Health Department for EUP Hospice Service Project, which is requesting $29,612 to provide sufficient revenue to all hospice discussion ensued. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to approve the Chippewa County Health Department 2% funding request for EUP hospice services. On a voice vote, the motion carried.
Anybody care to make that motion?
Also move. Oh, I see, okay.
I'll support.
Commissioner McLean makes the motion, it's supported by Commissioner Kinsella, and that is regarding the Health Department 2% funding request. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries with one nay.
Health Department, Medical Examiner Facilities Use Agreement. The committee received documentation from the Health Department with regards to the Medical Examiner Facilities Use Agreement with Spectrum Health. It provides autopsies that require forensic pathologists as well as all child deaths and unique death cases of Chippewa County. The service fee will be $982 for each autopsy ordered by the designated county medical examiner. Discussion followed with regards to if it's a renewal or a new contract. The information will be forwarded to the full board for consideration once the additional information is received. And we received that information, we have it. It's noted that the health department has always used Spectrum Health, very seldom. We used it twice in the last 2 years, I think. The cost each time was $873. This one's going up to
$82.
$982. But apparently it was a handshake agreement with Doc Terrian and whoever for however long it went down. And they're just putting it into contract and solidifying it, and there'll be a 3% increase every year. Moved by Commissioner Shackman, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Okay, we forwarded. At any rate, it was moved to forward it to the board, and I would make the motion that we approve that contract with Spectrum Health.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The Health Department General Ledger Clerk position was discussed. No action was taken. The reissue of RFP for 3 sonic firewalls. The committee reviewed a memo from Brian Bartlett explaining the need to reissue the RFP for the 3 sonic firewalls, which were budgeted in 2014. Moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, to approve the re-release for the 3 sonic firewalls. On a voice vote, the motion carried. The problem we had here was we only received 1 bid and it did not meet specs. And so we're going to head out there and try to get bids that meet specs, and if they don't meet specs, I guess you're going to contact vendors. Was that it, Scott?
Yeah, I think we should probably probably when we put the specs out again, we
Right.
should contact them and say, look, we're hoping you'll bid on this and please do it right, so we don't have to keep doing this.
So I'll make that motion that we rebid the re-release for the 3 firewall bids.
Support it.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee received and reviewed budget information and quotes provided to purchase and replace the matrix of the simplex system, which is a brain box in the Chippewa County Jail at the replacement cost of $20,960. This was a budgeted expense, by the way. It was moved by Commissioner Shackman, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, to approve the purchase of the matrix for the simplex system in the Chippewa County Jail at the cost not to exceed $20,960 from Simplex Grinnell. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Was that correct?
Yeah.
Is there discussion? Commissioner McLean?
Just wanted to ask Commissioner Cooper, that was a budgeted,
Yes.
Yeah, that was budgeted.
okay, I have a hard time hearing sometimes.
Yeah, that was a budgeted,
Is there further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
committee discussed the use of the annex sale proceeds. The $206,630.14 received from MMRMA and the $92,500 from the signed purchase agreement and the need to establish a courthouse maintenance fund. Discussion followed. It was moved by Scott, supported by Donald McLean, to approve the establishment of a courthouse maintenance fund with the proceeds of the monies received from MMRMA in the amount of $206,630 and the sale proceeds of $92,500, and to prioritize a list of items that need to be addressed. On
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? Commissioner Cooper?
I just, you know, we're only dealing with 300,000, and you don't gobble it up in a quick period of time, so, I mean, there were some projects, again, and you know that we've already outlined, we've already earmarked, we've already said should be taken care of, and I think those should come high on the priority list, instead of searching around and finding the project of the week kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? And this is cool today, so let's do it. But I mean, we have some stuff on the back burner, and I think we should address those things.
Commissioner McLean?
I appreciate that, Commissioner Cooper, and we will, as a Building and Grounds Committee, look at it, and we need to set up some kind of a list, long-term plan as to what needs to be addressed, how much it'll cost, and how we're going to be able to fund that. And determine if there are some extremely immediate things that need to be done right away. Thank you.
And the motion is still before us, I believe. Is there further discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
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 Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee reviewed the motion from Personnel Committee regarding a request from the Animal Shelter Manager Holly Henderson to allow one part-time shelter employee with 6 years of service to be approved to work over 29 hours per week and to be offered health care on January 1st, 2015. Discussion followed with regards to the Affordable Care Act and the waiver being sought, including offering full-time to this part-time employee and the wage breakdown difference. Moved by George, supported by Don, to forward the motion for the approval of consideration with wage benefit breakdown, including the Affordable Care Act, you know, for the one part-time shelter employee, and that motion passed. And you see in your minutes here, we have that analysis. And this individual was working 78 hours a pay period. And then when they had to cut that person down to 29 hours to comply with the Affordable Care Act, and then if they gave this individual insurance, to work them over 29 hours, this what the cost would be. But if we made that person full-time, I mean, you can see the incremental difference for a full-time employee after we pay the additional insurance that we're advocating, that your committee's advocating. And if we make that individual full-time, it's only $1,800 a year different. And we've got a long-term employee, someone that's out there that's well-trained. And we heard this argument with the Sheriff's Department, if we keep getting part-timers, we're gonna have this turnover. And we're gonna be training them constantly. So we're gonna be spending the big money anyway on the insurance and the benefits. That's where the big bucks are. We're gonna spend it anyway, so we might as well make this person full-time and keep this individual on staff. That's my idea. And I'll make that motion that we allow Holly to hire this person full-time starting January 1, 2015.
I'll support that.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion?
I
Mr.
just want to
Kinsella.
comment, I like the idea of a full-time employee, and that person has been with us over 6 years, I think. Wasn't that what we heard, Don? Yeah.
6 or 8
So,
somewhere. in
yeah,
there.
and, you know, to me, the commitment is there. The ability to do the job's already there. It's proven. For $1,800, I'd just soon have a full-time employee out there.
Okay.
Well, it's 18 plus how much for the insurance? Do we have?
That's included in there, Ted.
No, it's in
That's,
included,
it's,
okay.
Yeah, she wrote
I
it
thought
out.
it was
That-
plus the insurance.
Ted, that's making the assumption that you're going to pay insurance because of the Affordable Health Care Act.
Okay.
So if you offer health insurance, and then you say, well, we're giving you health insurance anyway, let's just make you full-time, that's how much it would cost, is $1,806 to just move her all the way to full-time.
Okay.
So, any further discussion? I guess I have to mention it, this is sort of like what the Sheriff's Department does when you have part-timers, they identify well-trained, good employees, and when it comes time to move up to full-time, that's the pool they draw from. So it's certainly been done before, and not a bad practice, because you know you're getting a really good employee. So with that, I call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee reviewed an outstate travel request for Assistant Prosecutor James Robinson to attend a witness training course in South Carolina, Pasco County. Moved by Scott, supported by George, to approve the out-of-state travel for Prosecutor James Robinson to travel to South Carolina. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? I just note again that this is at no cost to the county. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Claims and accounts, the committee reviewed the bills and payroll presented for approval. It's moved by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean, to recommend the approval of the general fund claims totaling $279,674.14. Other fund claims, $1,375,892.90. Payroll of $448,462.16. Did I say that right? $448,426.16. Health Department claims of $481,125.47. Total claims of $2,585,118.67. Vouchers H1 through H315. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We had a couple budget adjustments, budget amendments there, you have them in your packet in front of you, a lot of it's regarding, when we changed over from Saint to Trident, and we're making some housekeeping adjustments there. Moved by Commissioner Shackland, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, to approve the budget amendments as presented. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We had a brief discussion on the mid-year budget and how its trending took place. And, moved by George, supported by Scott, to adjourn the meeting, and we adjourned at 4:33, and I'll move for the approval of these minutes.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Pastula, that the minutes of July 10th, 2014 finance claims and accounts be accepted. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. New business, we have a resolution before us. It is 1414 is the number. Resolution supporting the CLM EUP Community Corrections, and it is on page 41.
I would move that resolution.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean. True. Supported by Commissioner Cooper. Is there discussion regarding the resolution and the motion? Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
Commissioner Cooper,
Yes.
Commissioner Kinsella,
Yes.
Commissioner McLean,
Yes.
Commissioner Pastula,
Yes.
and Chairman Shackleton.
Yes, and so that resolution passes. Commissioner comments is our last item of the agenda. Is there anybody who wish to comment under Commissioner comments? Go ahead.
I'm just confused as to what went down here with us violate, or, going against what we normally do, and then putting on the agenda, but treating it like public comment. We didn't do it like public comment, but you acted like it was public comment. You know what I mean? You wouldn't let us speak or say anything, and then you brought the attorney up, and you know what I mean? I think if it was public comment, I can buy into that, but making an agenda item and then not having it open for discussion was problematic to me. And then the attorney gets up there, and he's, going on, and he's saying that Jim German has the ability to negotiate stuff for the county, and I thought he was an employee of this board, and this board gave him direction, and he doesn't just go out on his own and negotiate, and you know what I mean? I think somehow or another we got this disconnect going. And maybe I'm just the one that's not in the loop, but you know what I mean? It seems to me that this has been ongoing since last November, and I get a couple of emails way back then, and then nothing, and then I get something from, talking about a settlement, and that they agreed to a settlement of $2,000 and not guaranteeing the wages, and how the hell can who can unilaterally make that? I don't think Jim has that authority, quite frankly.
Well, of course not. Are you done?
No, I'm just saying, so why?
Because I want to answer you, but I want you to finish.
Why would he offer it up? I mean, that's the problem here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm done, Scott.
Okay. A couple things real quick. Mr. Mattson asked to be on the agenda, and, we honored his request to be on the agenda and let him say whatever he wants to say. There's pending lawsuits and talk about a whole lot more lawsuits. So, usually in situations like that, you would have your attorney speak for you. And, regarding specifically, I believe, the, talk of a settlement, I believe Mr. Mattson suggested that there could be a settlement. Mr. German said, well, let me negotiate the best deal I can with you, and then I will take it to the board to see if they would approve it. And that's what he did, and there was no interest in that. So, Mr. Mattson asked me a direct question. I told him I'd answer him, and I will answer you directly. If my memory serves me correctly, I recall getting an email, I'm thinking it was over a year ago, and I think I was one of several people copied on it. And, again, because there was a pending lawsuit, because there were, threats of more lawsuits, I'd always been advised that you don't correspond and talk to people who are filing lawsuits with you, against you or against the agency you represent. That is a matter to be settled and discussed in court. So, so I'm sure I didn't reply, because, once there's, pending lawsuits and threats of lawsuits, you don't engage in that sort of a discussion. So that would be my answer to you. So,
So you don't engage in anything that.
so Mr. Mattson, you're out of order at the moment. We're, you had your opportunity to speak.
Well, that's why I wanted to be on the agenda.
Mr. Mattson, you had your opportunity to speak.
That's why I wanted to ask you a question, because I knew you wouldn't answer, I knew you wouldn't go ahead and answer my question.
Mr. Mattson, you had your opportunity to speak. And I'm glad you had your opportunity to speak. The system works. It gives you the chance to speak to us, gives you a chance to go to court and have your day in court. So, everything that I think the county has done has been evidenced and, by our insurance company and by our attorney that we've done everything right, and I believe that to be true. Mr. McLean?
I guess I want to agree with you, Mr. Chairman, that is, I believe, the wise thing to do. Mr. Mattson made his presentation, our attorney answered, and anything that we could have said as commissioners, you know, might muddy the water relative to any pending lawsuits. So I think it was wise to do that at this point.
All right. Is there a motion, any further motions today, for instance, or further discussion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that we adjourn for the day. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Did a good job, John.